had a smashing time.
Same fella, was it?
Same as what?
Well, whoever's been paying you all the attention lately. Flowers and I don't know what else.
No, you don't know what else, do you?
Him, was it?
Oh, Maggie. Getting this lot up's one thing, but getting them down, honestly, is another. I don't know how we don't get one of them things with a grabber, you know what I mean?
With a thingamy on the end, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. I nearly brained myself yesterday.
Who is he, any road?
Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't have thought I was the nosiest person in the world.
You know him for it.
But what you making such a mystery of it for?
Well, you see, I'll tell you, when you're going out with Steve McQueen, it's got to be hush-hush because, well, he don't like publicity.
Yeah, but you are not going out with Steve McQueen, are you?
You get him one.
Oh, I'd give you up.
I thought you would. I still think we ought to get one of them things. Make a note of it.
I will. Look, do you mind if I leave you in here for half an hour?
What for?
Well, just while I skim a duster over inside.
Oh, why? Is her ladyship coming back today, then?
Well, it's not as if I don't do it every morning, is it?
At this time? Give her.
Well,
go on. Don't tell Al Gordon down. Now he's coming up in the world, do we?
He rang up. I didn't tell you.
Oh, to see how you got on, like?
Yeah, well, he was glad we met, you know.
Oh, was he all nervous?
I think he was. Suppose there's no mother ever thinks there's a girl good enough.
You're not all that keen on her, are you?
Well, I don't know how much it's me, how much it's her, but...
Well, I think she's all right, but she's a bit tough in nose, isn't she?
Well, she seems to have her sights set.
On Gordon, you mean? Well, it's
No, I don't
fair
mean that. I mean, it was her wanted the engagement unofficially. He'd have had it in the paper, gone the whole hog.
So she's not in a hurry, there's nothing wrong with that.
Do you think I'm making a lot out of nothing?
No, I don't, Maggie. I know what you mean.
A bit ambitious for my liking.
Well, heaven knows, I've had a go at him myself, haven't I? But it's you that wants him to do well for himself.
Yeah, well, for his own sake.
Well, anyway, it's very middle class being an accountant, you know. You wait, he'll be talking that far back in a bit. He'll need a telephone when he's standing next
Now,
to
don't
you.
make fun of him. That's not Gordon at all. He's just worked hard.
Yes, well, he's not going to come back with a girl from the next street, then,
No,
is
all
he?
right, so I wanted him to do well for himself.
Oh, he
But
is
that doesn't mean
doing-
getting into the rat race, does it?
Oh, well, you've put your finger on it now, haven't you?
Yeah, I believe I have. Because I think that's where she'll push him.
Well, I need an answer, Alan, one way or another.
I know. It's not a very easy decision to make, you know.
Well, you have had time to think.
Look, what do you think I've been doing awake half the night, counting sheep?
Well, there's no need to snap my head off. I wish they'd never offered me the flaming job. But since they have, can we sit down and be a bit calm and cool-headed about it?
Let's make a change, wouldn't it? All right, £1,800 a year.
Which is not to be sniffed
Look, I'm not sniffing at it.
Well, you're not exactly jumping at it, are you?
Elsie, I would grab it if it was here. But it's Solihull. Solihull.
What's wrong with Solihull?
Solihull's a very nice... Look, we've been through all this.
Well, there are garages in Solihull. There must be. They make cars there, at least near enough.
I can't walk in there as a partner or even a manager.
Oh, come on, Alan. You can sell yourself.
I used to be able to.
What, with me putting 1,800 quid a year in the kitty? Of course you can sell yourself.
It's beginning to sound like a competition, isn't it?
Oh, don't be daft, Alan. Look, with you making as much as me, more, we'd be out of the woods and skipping in less than no time.
With you out in front setting the pace.
Now, look, I'm not having that. It was you that said, remember, it was you that said we'd be like partners.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Alan. If I take this job, it's a chance for both of us. And you can find a better place than Billy Walker's.
That garage has been very good to me.
Yes, well, now there's a chance to do better things. Plus 1,800 quid a year.
Less tax.
It's still...
All right, it's a lot of money, I know.
It's still not the top of the ladder.
Well, I suppose there are garages in Solihull.
Ah, Alan.
Now, wait a minute, love. I'll think about this and make a few inquiries. We'll talk about it again.
Yeah, well, you'll get cracking, won't you, today?
I'll do what I can.
Oh, Alan, we will be on the up and up. We'll be in...
Elsie, £1,800 a year is not the super tax bracket, you know.
Isn't it? Oh, and I always wanted to be a super taxpayer. And tell you something, love, don't worry about Solihull. It's not exactly a foreign country, you know.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
That makes it quite a while.
Well, it's so unlike her.
Hey, perhaps the white slavers have got her.
I wish you wouldn't make like jokes like that. It's only too possible. You think these things can't
Oh,
happen,
come on, Auntie Annie. She's a bit long in the tooth for the white slave trade.
Well, there must be some reason why we haven't heard.
Right, it's not like Miss Nugent.
And until I know why, I shan't rest easy.
Well, there's nothing you can do, is there?
There may be something.
I'm short of following her.
You know, I think one could get in touch with the Foreign Office.
Dear Lord Hume, next time you happen to be in Spain, do you think you could look out for old Miss Nugent?
Don't be silly. We must have an ambassador in Spain.
Well, don't we have one round here, like? He'd be in London, wouldn't he?
You know, there may be a local consulate.
Are you serious?
I've never been more so. I'll look it up. And if there is a Spanish consul, he can expect a visit. One can pull the lion's tail once too often.
Do you think she would? This time tomorrow, we could have lost Gibraltar.
Hello, I'm back again.
Oh, hello. Well, come and put your feet up. It's a long haul, isn't it?
Oh, took no time at all. John brought me down.
Oh, is that your friend's husband?
That's right.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Well, he had to go to Manchester anyway. Super car. Just over an hour. 100 on the motorway and you'd hardly know you were moving.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah, you think you'd know better, being a solicitor.
Well, take your coat off. I was just going to put the kettle on.
Anyway, I better get off. Leave you to it, Maggie.
Oh, you can stop, can't you?
Well, seeing you've got visitors.
Oh, go on. I'd like you to meet Jennifer. This is Mr. Roberts, love.
Alf.
Jennifer's engaged to Gordon.
Unofficially. How do you do? You're not one of the family, are you?
No, just a friend.
So I didn't think Gordon had any uncles.
Well, I hardly know Gordon, do I, Maggie?
Oh, I see. Just a friend of Mrs. Clegg's.
Yeah, well, I'm round here, you know.
Mr. Roberts is a counsellor, Jennifer.
Well,
Really?
ta very much anyway, Maggie. I'll see you.
Oh,
Ta-ra, see
all right.
ya.
Yes.
Seems a very nice man. Worth cultivating.
Well, go on through, won't you?
Cultivating. Oh. Cultivate people round here, all you get's a good crop of raspberries.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear it. Listen, Tomo, I want you to do me a favour. Would you ask around, try and find me an opening down there? No, everything's fine. Listen, it's my wife, Elsie. She's been offered promotion, the job that she does in your neck of the woods, and I'd like her to be able to take it. Well, no, not just any job, but if you know anybody that wants a service manager or something like that. Would you, yes? You mean your word still counts for something down there? Well, that would be fine. Yes, I do. Oh, well, I'll give him a ring. Uh-huh. Well, hang on. Who's the other fellow? Telephone number, Tom. 021, yes.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Oh, but you would have been thrilled with this house, honestly.
This is where you were staying?
That's right, thank you. And the way Rona's got it. Of course, you get more for your money there. Detached, you know, and the garden's big enough for a tennis court.
Oh, it sounds very nice. Irma, there's a cup of tea here for you.
And the hall, I really like a big hall, don't you?
Yes. Well, it's a bit of a waste of space.
Oh, no. It's the hall that makes the first impression, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I suppose a big hall does make a big impression.
Yes, it does. And the way Rona's got it, she's carried the carpet right through to the lounge, you know, sort of oatmeal. It's really beautiful. And of course, it's practically furnished throughout with antiques. Oh, we've got all antiques at home. Really? I love antiques. Some of the furniture's that old. We've actually finished the instalments. I'll take my tea through here, Maggie.
Tell me, this John, he's not that old, is he? Seems to be doing very well.
Oh, well, they've got a family business. His father's absolutely loaded.
I see.
Yes, she really fell on her feet there.
Well, I'm sorry there's no family fortune behind Gordon.
Oh, but Gordon's got the brains.
But there are other things, though, aren't there?
You're so right. And if Gordon had just a little bit more push, he could have everything that John's got and more. I've told him.
Suitable, do you think, for a diplomatic meeting?
Fantastic.
What about the handbags?
The snake skin, definitely.
No, the other one.
You know, I think you're right, dear. One mustn't be overdressed. The snakeskin is really more for the evening.
Well, take it with you. You might just get off with him.
Oh, no, dear. I know the Spanish. One must be correct above all things. I have lived among them, you know.
Oh, true enough.
And if one is dressed as a lady, then one is treated as a lady.
Hey, you know, I'd have thought Miss Nugent dressed ladylike, and whatever happened to her?
Oh, well, she probably doesn't understand them like Mrs. Walker, you know.
Well, it's a dead cert they didn't understand her.
Well, we shall find out, shall we? And I fail to see anything amusing in it. Oh, Mrs. Clegg.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Walker. Oh, you do look smart.
Well, when one is showing the flag, you know.
Oh, I don't think you've met Jennifer. This is Mrs. Walker, Jennifer. She's the landlady.
How do you do, dear? And you're...
Jennifer.
You know, Gordon's latest.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry I can't stay.
Oh.
But the Spanish consul, you know, one mustn't keep him waiting.
Spanish consul?
That's right.
Your glass is empty, Raymond. Why are you not shouting and gesticulating? Are you not well?
Who's the bird?
Gordon Clegg's what's it?
I know her.
How come she's not local?
I was trying to place it.
Oof, well, I hope it doesn't turn out to be embarrassing. Best keep your head down.
No, it's all right. I've got it. I do know her.
Well, if we stop here, we should meet quite a few in New Gordon. They're generally in.
Of course, Rona doesn't know she's born. Mind, you're not saying Grange is cheap or anything, but compared to London or Sussex...
Yes, Gordon was saying the price of flats.
Oh, £7,000 is nothing in London itself.
Do you have to live in London?
I couldn't bear to be far away now.
You wouldn't think of coming back up here then?
Oh, no. I think of myself as a Londoner.
Hello, love.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is Raymond. Ray, meet Jennifer.
Oh, we know each other. Don't we, Jenny?
I don't think so.
Well, cast your mind back to Burnley. Backard, Castle Street. You got it?
You wouldn't be Raymond Langton by any chance?
The very same. I used to set fire to her pigtails, I did. That's right, isn't it, love?
Oh, I thought you said you came from Cumberland.
Oh, well, we lived in Burnley when I was small.
You were about 16 when you moved, weren't you?
I really don't remember.
Yeah, your dad got made up to mill manager. Of course, we all thought they practically joined the aristocracy.
Well, that's when we moved.
And how's my old mate Gordon, then?
Oh, he's doing very well. What are you doing now?
Oh, me, I'm just a humble chippy, nothing very interesting.
Of course, you always were very good with your hands. More that way.
Yeah, more that way. Well, don't let me interrupt your conversation. I'll see you around, eh?
You know her, do you?
Oh, I know her, all right.
Oh.
Well, it's not for me to say.
Ah, come on.
Ah, forget it. She might just have grown up to be a very nice young woman.
You doubt it.
Can I have a gin and tonic, please, love? Make it a double.
Oh, what's up with you? Have you come into some loot?
Oh, maybe I've got reason to celebrate.
Oh, something coming up then?
Perhaps one of my ships is coming in.
You won't forget your friends, will you?
Like that.
Hello, Mr. Howard.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, struggling on. I say, I bet you're chuffed about Elsie, aren't you?
Getting the new job?
Yes, smashing. But just like old times, don't it?
Old times?
Well, with Mr. Maxwell being down there, he's lovely to work for.
Maxwell?
Yes, you know, Dennis Maxwell. He got promoted.
Yes, I know who you mean. I just didn't know.
Oh, yes, he's General Overlord of the Midlands, our Dennis. This fashion supermarket thing, well, it's his baby, you know.
No, I didn't know.
Well, not many people did, actually. But I find out the odd thing. See you.
See you.
This is Mrs. Walker, Mr. Arabelle.
Mrs. Walker, please sit down. I am at your service.
Thank you, senor. Senor... I didn't quite catch the name.
Juan Alfredo Arrabal Mejías de las Torres y Salamanca. It is not easy to catch.
No. And how are you?
Now, what can I do for you?
In the first place, I would like to make it clear that I am in no way casting aspersions upon your country.
Well, that is gratifying
In
to
fact,
know.
personally, I've always found all of you remarkably pleasant and gentlemanly.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Walker, but what
and
exactly...
I do know Spain, you know. I have worked amongst your people.
Ah, it is a question of a work permit.
Oh,
In that case...
no.
It is not? Mrs. Walker, if it concerns hotels, holidays, or a package tour of any kind, I can only beg you to take your complaint...
I don't think you understand.
It is not about any hotels or holidays?
Not at all.
Mrs. Walker, you don't know how happy I am to hear you say that. You know, these complaints are brought here, and what can I do? It is the responsibility of the English companies, no? Miss Wilford, some sherry.
Yes, sir.
You will join me in a glass of sherry, Mrs. Walker.
I'm most partial.
This holiday business, you know, it makes my job very difficult. Let us hope that things will be better next year.
Well, by that time, perhaps the hotels will all be finished.
Yes, let us hope. Now, I am all ears.
Mrs. Walker?
Oh, thank you, dear.
Now, Mrs. Walker.
Well, it concerns a friend of mine. You know Santa Eulalia?
I'm sorry, no.
Well, that is where she went because of her fiancé.
This was an elopement.
Oh, nothing so romantic. He was put in prison there.
In prison?
In prison in Santa Eulalia.
I'm afraid a legal matter. Look, if you're trying to secure this man's release...
Oh, no. I'm not trying to get him out of jail.
No?
No, you see, that is where she went.
The lady is not in jail.
Oh, to the best of our knowledge, no.
Then what is it I can do for you, Mrs.
Well,
Walker?
we want to know what has happened to her.
What has happened to her?
We haven't heard a word.
Well, what do you imagine has happened to her?
I dread to think.
Mrs. Walker, Spain is a civilized country.
Civilized or not, senor, a friend of mine, a very dear friend, has disappeared in it.
Well, perhaps we had better begin with a lady's name.
Miss Emily Nugent. N-U-G-E-N-T.
Emily Nugent. And her home is at where?
I've told you I've been finding out one or two things.
And?
Well, you can't expect miracles, love. As far as I can gather, there are no garage proprietors actually down on their knees begging for my services.
How does it look?
Look, I phoned Tomo. He's an old rally driving
Yes,
friend of mine.
you mentioned him.
Well, he said there might be something. He mentioned a couple of places.
Well, can he lay it on the line for you?
No, Elsie, he can't. He can put in a good word for me. I've been out of touch for a long time, you know. Tomo's very big in the business.
Well, that helps. If you have somebody on your side, it always helps.
Yes, it does indeed, doesn't it?
Oh, Alan, you're brewing hot and cold. This morning I thought you'd come round to it.
Elsie, is this really what you want?
It's what we both want, isn't it? Otherwise we wouldn't be bothering, would we?
It's just the money, is it?
It's a much better job.
Finished?
Yes, thank you, love.
Elsie, do you know why you're getting this job ahead of anyone else they might have?
How should I know?
You've no idea.
Well, oh, somebody must like my face or something. Look, love, I know the job. I'm aware of quality and I've been in retail.
Yes, fair enough. I just wondered who might have recommended you, that's all.
Well, does it matter?
I'm interested.
Oh, Alan, look, don't be stupid about this. Are you afraid that it's going to fall through when we get there or something?
Something like that.
Well, don't worry, it won't.
You sound very sure.
Alan, what's the matter with you? I've got to have a bit of faith in myself, you know. Trust me.
If you're sure it's what you want.
Perhaps you are worrying a little prematurely. After all, it is little more than a week.
She
you
would
say.
not let a week go by.
Well, there are many distractions. Perhaps she...
Hardly, with her fiancé in jail.
Well, there are many young men she may
She's
never...
not that sort of person.
Mrs. Walker, I'm merely trying to point out that there could be reasons. If there were anything serious, you would have been informed. It is for that we insist that all visitors are registered with the police.
Is that so?
Well,
then
through
it
the
would be no
hotels-
trouble to find out where she is.
Well, in
but that
theory,
would
no,
set
but,
our minds completely at rest. How long would it take?
Well, Miss Wilford,
Yes, sir?
I suppose the embassy, You wish me to pursue this matter through the embassy. Would that make you happy?
Oh, you could hardly be kinder.
Miss Wilford, get me Senor Planas on the telephone.
Oh, that'll be for me. I'm expecting a call from Gordon. Hello.
Maggie, could I borrow your iron?
It's for you.
Oh, it's her. Hello? Oh, is she? No?
She on that phone again? You know, I might as well have it moved up to her roof for all the use that I get up. Oh, that's nice. Yours?
Irma's.
That's the second new dress she's bought this week.
I've got to wash my hair
It's lovely, isn't it?
sometimes, haven't I?
I must say, she does seem to lead quite a social life.
I will not
Well-
wear a wig, cheeky.
Lately, yes.
Oh, all right then, as long as you send a taxi round. Well, I can't go out and walk in that long dress, can I? Because they get dirty, that's why. Oh, go on, you cuddly monstrosity. Right, I'll see you then. Ta.
Out again?
Yeah, it's a dragon. Do you know, I'll have to take this hem up. I keep tripping over it.
Oh, all right, I'll pin it up for you.
Oh, Ta.
Have you seen where it's from? I didn't know they had branches up here.
And I thought you were short of money.
You don't think I bought this, do you?
I think you find yourself a sugar daddy.
Is it the same guy who's been sending you all those flowers?
Well, I do make it a point to have only one sugar daddy at a time.
Seems quite a catch. What does he do?
Well, I don't know, love, really. You see, he's one of these fellas. He's got half a dozen suits, but he wears boots to work.
Very peculiar.
Yes, but then again, my husband wore boots to work and he got very dirty doing it. He was a footballer, so you never can tell, can you?
I'm sure you're right.
Yes, and I didn't catch this one. I cultivated him.
And such a gentleman. You have no idea. Their manners really are impeccable.
Well, it's all part of the job, isn't it? Being diplomatic.
No, dear. This is what I can only call breeding. There's a world of difference and so refreshing these days.
Hang on, what about Miss Nugent? So didn't you get round to that, what with him doing his polite fandango?
Oh, he did a great deal to put my mind at rest.
I bet he didn't know anything, did he?
Well, of course not. But steps were taken. He contacted the embassy immediately.
Oh, and what are they going to do?
They are taking appropriate steps.
That's so much to nothing. What's it mean?
Well, we shall know in a day or two. And no one can say that I haven't done everything I possibly could.
Evening. Evening.
Yes, love.
Dark mile, please. And, what you're on there, Raymond?
That's very good of you, Squire. Just top that up, would you, love?
I was wondering if I could have a bit of a chat with you.
All right, what about?
Well, hang on a sec. Hey, let's sit down, shall we? Right. Here, I bet, love.
Yes, it was a very good idea to take it up with the consul. Well, that's what they're there for, isn't it?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, yes, and you'd be surprised how approachable they are. And you know, you could tell, just by looking at him, that he was every inch an aristocrat, even before you heard the name. It really does go on forever.
Like some people I could mention.
Yeah, I don't think we've heard the last of Don Quickshot either.
Well, Lucille said you knew her, like.
Ah, true enough.
So I thought I'd tap you. I mean, you weren't exactly wildly excited about her.
What's your interest?
Well, a friend of Maggie's. She turns to me for advice. Well, we talk things over, yeah. I better know what I'm talking about. I mean, she'd never ask you.
Ah, well, I'm going on a long time back, you know. We was all kids.
Oh, well, tell me anyway.
Jennifer, my old son, was a sort of little girl who never was a little girl. She was born with her eyes open, looking for the main chance.
I can believe that.
I'm telling you, in Standard 2, she knew how much pocket money every lad in that class had got. And if your pocket jingled, you got to carry her books home.
Still, as you say, it was a long time ago. Girls are more precocious, they say.
Listen, mate, when she was talking to me in here, she didn't want to know me. But if I'd have been the same bloke wearing a suit and earning £3 a year, it'd have been quite different.
Tallies.
If you ask me, that little madam has decided that Gordon Clegg is just the ticket. One way, all expenses paid, 2 cars, the biggest mortgage this side of the pay cost.
Well, it's not unheard of, is it? Look, you don't mind if I pass this on to Maggie?
Oh, go ahead. Go one better, tell Gordon. He's supposed to have brains, but I don't think he's sharp enough to cope with this one. Somebody ought to warn him.
You never can, though, can you?
Well, I have to tell him definitely tomorrow, Alan.
Well, tell them.
Well, you are certain? I mean, you have decided?
Yes.
And nothing's going to make you change your mind?
Why? Can you think of something that might make me want to change my mind?
Oh, I don't know. You're still being a bit funny, aren't you? Look, I just want to know that you won't go back on your word, that's all.
You can tell them. Of course, there are 1 or 2 things I'd still like to know.
What about?
About what I'm letting myself in for.
Look, Alan, I know it'll all be different to start with, but... Well, it isn't as if that you have any roots to pull up round here.
I was trying to put some down.
Yes, I know, love, I know. But, look, you won't change your mind because everything doesn't run smoothly at first.
It's a new place, a new situation. I've no doubt we'll be finding out things as we go along.
Yes, of course we will.
Then when do you expect I will start to find out about Dennis Maxwell?
Hey, where does he come into it?
Oh, he's in Solihull. I understand he's the big white chief down there.
Well, it's the first I've heard of it.
Is it?
Have you... Where did you get this from?
I heard about it. So now we know why you were offered the job, don't we?
I didn't know he had anything to do with it.
Well, perhaps you didn't know, but you know now. So let's just put that little piece into its place and think again, shall we?